Okay, so after we do the topic of calculation of upper bound and lower bound, now the real deal is the word problems. Actually, the word problem is not that hard as long as you know how to do and you know how to find the lower bound and upper bound for each. For example, here, the masses to the nearest 0.5 kilogram of two parcels are 1.5 kilogram and 2.5 kilogram. Calculate the lower and upper bound for their combined mass. So you know that the nearest is always the thing that is the standard of our error. The nearest 0.5. This is new for you. Then you need to find the error of 0.5 of the nearest. It's quite complicated. 0.5 of the nearest unit. Usually, we deal with nearest 1, nearest 10, nearest 2 sig fig, nearest 3 sig fig. But in this case, to the nearest 0.5. So you can imagine there is a scale. Scale means the measuring tools of the mass, which calculate or which measure in the unit of 0.5. So 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.55, and so on. The measuring tools don't know about 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. So the measuring tools is all only calculate or measuring the each 0.5. So if you want to imagine this, so we have 0 kilogram and 0.5 kilogram, and then 1 kilogram, 1.5 kilogram. So the scale is up to 0.5 only. Okay, and so on. Therefore, the plus minus is not 0.5. You don't just as simple as adding 5 on the edge on the last number, but you need to calculate the error here. So plus minus 0.25 and calculate the lower bound and upper bound of their combined mass. First thing first, list down all the lower bound and upper bound. LB, UB for each of the number. Upper bound, you add 0.25, then 1.75, 1.25, right? Make sense? How about this? 2.75 and 2.25. Calculate the lower bound and upper bound of their combined mass. You just add. If you want to add as simple as to get lower bound, lower plus lower. To get upper bound, upper plus upper. As simple as this, just add up. 3.50 for the lower bound, right? And for the upper bound, just add up like this. 0, 5, 4. The unit is always in kilogram. Make sense? Quite easy, yeah? Now, the perimeter, so for number 2 and number 3 is the same but different in the measuring tools. So for number 2, the measuring tools is not so accurate, so just correct it to the 1 decimal place. But for number 3, they use the other tools that will increase the accuracy. 2 decimal place. So you can do either one. I picked number 2. I mean number 3. So calculate the upper bound and lower bound for the perimeter for the rectangle shown below here. So we are calculating the perimeter. Then you have to list down the length and the width, and it is corrected to 2 decimal place. Therefore, it's quite simple. You don't have to focus on the plus minus because this width, length, width, lower bound, upper bound. Make a table. This is the length. The upper bound of the length, just add 5 on the edge. How about the lower bound? 5, 5. Right? The width is 2.00, so 2.005. And here, 1 point. 1.995. Quite complicated. And we are asked the perimeter. So we have to understand the perimeter of the rectangle. 2 times length plus width, right? Makes sense? Remember this rule? Now, to get the upper bound of the perimeter, I put it here to make it simple. Okay, to get the upper bound for the perimeter, you have to add this as an upper bound. Get it, guys? So to get the upper bound, so 2 times length of upper bound plus width of upper bound. The question is, do I have to increase the value of 2 become upper bound? Becomes 2.5, let's say. Why? Why no? Because something. This is not a measured unit. We not measure the 2. We just count the 2. Length 2. You don't have to use the rounding. 2 is an exact number with no unit, not a measured unit. You don't measure the 2. You just look. We have a rectangle here. The rectangle has 2 length, that's it, and 2 width, that's it. So the 2 not, you cannot change the 2 becomes 2.5. So the upper bound for the perimeter is 2 stays here, this plus this. 4.865 plus 2.005 for the upper bound. And for the lower bound, you just change the lower bound, the length and width with the lower bound. 4.855 plus 1.995. You get the answer? You get the answer. Get it, guys? So the 2 is not a measured unit. Therefore, you don't have to change, you cannot change the 2 at all costs. Just let it be. Okay, the 2 is on the formula, not on the measurement. 0.5 times 0.01, right? Because 2 decimal place, it's to the nearest 0.01. Then you multiply by 0.5 for the error. 0.005. Add and subtract. Okay, let's see the other type of question. There you go. Number 6, different unit. So we are asked the other part of, or other element of a rectangle, which equals x. We are finding x. The given number is the length and the area. And we are asked the width. The length marked x. Okay, the width itself. Okay. So to find the area, we have the length times width. Therefore, to calculate the length of the x, which is width, what do you do? To the formula, what do you do to the formula? Yeah, area over length, right? Area divided by length. Or you can use the power triangle, length times width. You close the width and you get A on top of L, which means A over L. Yeah. And then if you want to find upper and lower, okay, you have to find both. Do area, length, lower bound, and upper bound. This table is actually optional, but it helps a lot. And both correct to 1 decimal place. Then the 55.85, right? So 55.75, 4.25, and then 4.15. Okay, you get the idea now? To find the width of the lower bound, it has to be area of lower over the length of division. To get lower bound, lower over upper, that's it. Why? Because we do the division. Division rule has to be opposing for the denominator. The width of upper bound, area, what area? Upper over lower, that's it. So 55.75 over 4.25. See, and then 55.85 over 4.15. You can find the answer in cm unit. If the number is bad, you can simplify to one decimal place or two sig fig or three sig fig or two decimal place or one decimal place, depend. Free, free to choose. So this is the answer. See, recurring decimal 13.1 is enough. Yep, three sig fig, and then 55.85 you divided by 4.15. So you get 13.5. See, upper bound, lower bound. If you want to put in the inequality form, close cm. Yeah, that's the way you do. This is for the word problems for upper bound and lower bound calculation. Actually, this is for the drawing, and the drawing is not in scale. Therefore, if you get 13 here, and you can see that 13 cannot be shorter than 4.2, as long as you calculate it right, the unit and the calculation is right, okay, you just go with it. Actually, the 4.2 has to be flipped with the width, right? The x is on top because x is longer than 4.2. Only for the miss type. I think it's typo and the question is quite problematic. 7. No 7. Another. Here you go. So if you want to find the area, the pi is only 3.14 or 22 over 7. The pi is not a measured unit, therefore you cannot change the 3.14 become the lower bound and upper bound. Okay, let's see. That's I think there you go. 7. A cuboid dimension. So a cuboid is like your book. The shape is given to 12.32 here. So let's make the appropriate measurement, 12.32, and then 1.8 on top. Yeah, just make it like this. And then the depth is 4.16. And there you go. I think I erased the 1.8. I put it a bit here. Okay, you can make the invisible part. Then calculate the volume, giving your answer to an appropriate degree of accuracy. Okay, this is the question that is not asking you for either upper bound and lower bound. If the question is like this, the default is finding upper bound and lower bound. Length, width, height, upper, lower. Oh, lower first. Depend. If you want to do upper first, it's up to you. As long as we provide all the data, everything is good. So the height is 1.8, 1.85, right? And then 1.75. Get it? 12.32. 12.325. 12.315. Good. 4.165. And 4.155. That's it. The volume, lower bound, lower times lower times lower, right? Volume of upper bound, I put it here. Please calculate. Someone. The unit is cm cube, yeah. There is no info about the rounding to the nearest, so assuming put 5 on the at the end of the number.
In paper, when we do the question, we need to put the error 0%.
No, no need to put the error. Just put like that is okay. Because no problem. Okay, any answer about the lower and upper? Yeah, just times. 9? Okay. Lower bound. 18.55. Thank you. So this is not the answer. You have to put to an appropriate degree of accuracy. Therefore, 89.55 less than equals to the volume less than 94.97. So you cannot or you are prohibited to multiply this number as it is. You have to change it into lower and upper first. So the prohibition is to multiply or to operate the uh, or to operate directly. Okay, to operate the measurement directly. For example, you just multiply 12.32 times 1.8 times 4.6. That's totally prohibited. Wrong. You need to change it first to either lower or upper. Take notes here. This is the important part. The prohibition is you multiply directly. No, cannot at all. You need to change or to convert first from the measurement to the lower and upper. Okay, cannot do that at all costs for every question regarding to the degree of accuracy. Oh, unit, thank you. The unit is cm cube. cm cube. Thanks, Leon. Here.